Hello and welcome to this week's Hot Takes, where Hayden and I rate your hot takes that you, the viewers, send in, and we will rate how spicy they are. Hayden, are you ready to get into it?
I am always ready for some spicy takes.
Amazing. Now, I've had a little look beforehand.
Okay.
And they actually are quite spicy,
Don't let me down.
Okay, so this one is from Full On Musk from Twitter. And they say Gene HAAS is never going to get HAAS fighting in the front if he's going to be a miser and not invest. So it wasn't Steiner's fault for the fall of HAAS.
Okay.
I like this hot take.
I don't think it has at the moment. I mean, they had a big plan. They had a 10-year plan, I'm pretty sure. And we're still 2 years away from that 10-year plan because they came in 2016. So they're still good. They're still on track. Mm-hmm. Are they? I don't know. They're not quite winning yet. But
I think so.
They're still on track. No, things are looking better this year. And I do think that, and I know people love Gunther Steiner, and I understand why people love Gunther Steiner. Okay, great on Drive to Survive, great character, but you can still have a great character. He will still be back on Drive to Survive. I'm calling it now.
Oh, 100%. He'll just be in the back of like people's shots.
Yeah, but he'll little bits like that on Grand Prix where he's at. But also he'll be jumping on the same role that Will Buxton and all those lot do. Like he'll be just there talking about it. They had Claire Williams this year as a representative, not only for women but also a team principal, an ex-team principal. So that was great insight. And I think Gunther Steiner's going to also do something like that.
Because he is obviously a massive pull for Drive to Survive. They can't get rid of him. People mainly watch it on parts for him, so he definitely won't be getting rid of him.
And he's doing TV punditry. So look, I know you love Gunther Steiner, but if anything, you get more of him now because he's doing punditry and he'll still be on Drive to Survive. So don't worry about it. He's been there since 2016 and HAAS have gone downwards. Okay, they've never really been that good apart from a bit of a blip around I think it was 2018, 2019. They had some really good run at the start of the season. An entire pit stop just let them down in Australia, and they were on for like a 4th, 5th, which would have been incredible for them. But other than that, it's just kind of been a downward spiral. They had a great start to 2022, but then that sort of fell flat on its face. And they've had a good start so far without Gunther in 2024. Things have been good. And they look like they're on the up. Yeah. Like they look like they're the best out of those bottom 5 teams. And that is kind of where they need to be at the moment. There is it looks like a big divide in Formula One because you have your top 5 teams. Aston are now kind of in the middle of that. Yeah. And then you have your bottom 5 teams. And, people, like I kind of draw similarities between that lot and them lot and like 2012 seasons when the teams at the bottom would be like a second plus off of the guys at the top. But it's not like that anymore in Formula One. Everyone's kind of within a second of each other, and it is still difficult. But I think HAAS are on the upwards. I don't know whether they're ever going to be a race-winning team. Could get they've got a pole position to their names, to be fair to them. But I don't think a race-winner team, probably not.
I've always sat very on the fence with Steiner because I thought, yes, it's ultimately sometimes his fault for the team's lack of progression, but you can't always put that on the team principal. There's so many other variables going on. But then now with Komatsu coming in and the team look amazing, unless they've spent a lot more that we don't know, it kind of looks like Steiner wasn't doing the best in his job.
At the end of the day, you're the one in charge. You are the one in charge. If you're at the top, you're making those decisions. You're putting those people in those places.
Komatsu has put more upgrades on the car. He wants to, make a bit of a difference. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Steiner, we all love him and we want to defend him, but now we've seen a new wave, hopefully, for HAAS. But in terms of the investment, I agree. I think they should put more investment in it because, of course, you could put loads of money in the car, like you said. Doesn't mean you're going to be at the top. But when you look at the top,
you can't anymore now. Like they'll be spending exactly the same amount of money on their development and their car as every other team
because of the cap.
It's more just facilities. Their facilities aren't the greatest in the sport,
you need to invest.
And that's where you need to invest. Yeah, that leftover money now is better off spent in because I don't think facilities etc. come into the cost cap. So, if you had an abundance of budget, like Aston Martin do, that you can build this massive campus facilities, and that's how you aim to improve and get to the top in F1. But whether they have it or whether they don't want to use it, I don't know.
Exactly. Like we were saying, with Alpine, we make comments on, we'd love to see them push a little bit more to get back to where they used to be. Is that the same with HAAS? Can they push a little bit more? Can they invest more in everything away from the racetrack to make sure that car is the best when it hits the racetrack? So I like this hot take. because I think it's true. Haas are now showing that they can get up there with Hulk, you know, with the help of chaotic Kevin Magnussen as well. They can get up there.
Chaotic
the car is
Kev.
looking stronger. That's his new nickname. Chaotic Kev. So I like this hot take. I'm going to go straight in Hayden and rate this a 4.
I'll go 3. I'll go in the middle.
On the fence.
On the fence.
Yeah, you agree and also disagree.
Yeah.
Parts.
Yeah. I mean, the Steiner thing, come on now. Right. Put your
Move
Steiner
on.
take your Steiner goggles off. He wasn't that great. Okay. A
Poor
great
Steiner.
personality, incredible person. But I think when you've had 8 years in the job and things haven't gone to plan, sometimes you need to change.
I think you might have a lot to say about this because you defend this man. You love him.
God.
No, it's not
Who's
Lance
it
Stroll.
now?
It's not Lance.
Okay.
It's a team principal.
Okay.
So, James Vowles is getting found out at Williams.
Who's
Car
slamming
has
my man?
regressed significantly and his management of the drivers has been horrible, with Albon getting desperate and Sargent feeling hopeless. And this is from Phil Talks Footy on Twitter.
Phil Talks Footy, stick to talking football. How dare you slam my man James Vowles?
I knew Hayden was going to get riled.
Is listen to the tones of his voice and
Calm.
you can fall asleep and it's calm and it's just beautiful.
Maybe that's what's happening with the drivers. You know,
Maybe
he comes on the radio
he
and
comes
they
on the
go
radio and
and fall asleep.
they fall asleep, and that's the problem. That's why they're crashing.
The thing is, though, this quite nicely follows on from our first hot take: team principles.
Team principles,
A lot does
under
fall on them,
scrutiny. No,
like
yeah.
we said.
Certainly so.
So potentially, is James Vowles at fault here with why the Williams isn't the best?
I think you've got two very different scenarios between him and Gunther Steiner. Steiner was in that job from 2016, maybe a little bit before, because obviously Haas was setting up as well, up until this season, 2024. That's 8+ years for Gunther Steiner. James Vowles has come into it 2023, last season, I believe it was his first one.
Has to find his feet in the team.
Exactly, and he's already said at the beginning, and this is why I don't care how long it takes. Like, I'm giving that man 5 years, because the way that he said that he came into that job and the facilities, where he was just like, it's incredible the car that you've made from the facilities that you have, because this is terrible. And he said, we need to tear the whole thing up and start again, because, and this is not going to be a quick turnaround. I'm not going to get the team up there in a couple of seasons. No, this is a long project, but my ambition is to get back up to the top, really, because that's where Williams should be. They have the history. They should be up there.
I think that it's wise that obviously Vowles comes in and he says, I want to make all of the car, you know, just better. I want the performance to be better all over.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a wise move?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because maybe that's going to hinder them, because you're going to have tracks which are better suited for different parts of the car. So why would you want to be overall stronger? Would you not want to have your strengths on certain parts?
Well,
like
I mean, you look at the Red Bull, and the Red Bull isn't just, it's just quick on the straights, you know.
That's a whole other ball. Get that Red Bull, though.
Yeah, I know it's a whole other ball game, but that's the ambition. That is the ambition for any team, to be like, that's the top. That's
what they're aiming for.
That is the line that we have to aim for. You know, you can't just go, you know, they look good, but, you know, I'll settle for this. No, you look up there and you go, that's what we need to get to. Regardless of whether you have the abilities to do that as a team, you might not, but you try and get as close as you possibly can with the stuff that's given to you, with the tools that are given to you. So I think people have a very short fuse in sport in general, and this person, Footy Talks, they talk a lot of footy, and I assume, and they follow football. In football, you sometimes get a manager that will come in and they'll be like, oh, well, this manager sucks, we're not winning championships like we used to. You know, things take time. You can't just go in there, spend a load of money, get all the players that you want, and then you're going to win the win the league. That's not how it works.
But then
you have to build a culture, build a structure around everybody, get everybody in and settled, and then also, you know, pick and choose, okay, this hasn't worked, so this is what I'm going to replace. I'm going to get this next season. That's how things work, and then you slowly build up. You can't just, things don't change overnight. It's the same with Formula One. You can't just go into there and go, okay, this is all wrong, and we're going to change this, and next season, we're going to be right up at the top. No, this is all wrong. I'm going to tear this all down. Because,
take it slower.
Yes, he joined for 2023, but that 2023 car is basically whoever was making it from 2022, because he can't join at the start of 2023 and then all be built. So 2024, this is his first proper car, I guess, of being in charge. And it's clear to see that everything's been torn down. There's a big reset. We've got a baseline where the car is equally good or equally bad across all circuits. But the potential for the improvements is so much higher. Give it time.
So what are you going to rate this hot take?
I'm going to say it's a 4 because of the argument I would have had with this person. Not in terms of like a heated argument, but it would have been a good debate if I sat down with this with
Hayden's ready to throw hands.
No hands will be thrown, but debate.
Yeah,
I will definitely defend this.
Defend James Vowles.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 3. I'm going to go right on the fence for this one because, again, I need to see what Vowles can do for the rest of the season. I need to see how it plays out with Albon, how it plays out with Sargent, to then make my opinion. Because for me, Komatsu has really impressed me. Obviously, it's not his car yet, so that's why I'm kind of putting him above Vowles for the time being. Maybe next season we'll go back to this hot take. So this is from Pimp and Kicker on Twitter, and they say Americans should be outraged that Andretti's bid was rejected for 2026. All of the US marketing only to reject an American team on the grounds that an 11th team would dilute their share of the sport's income without significantly improving revenue.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one when you say it like that, for sure.
It's true because they're pushing American races. They're pushing, American influencers and all this getting in. The market is opening so much more because they saw a gap of, we can make a lot of money here. America has a lot of money. Let's widen the sport, get more money, get more people involved. Drive to Survive kicked off over in America as well. Americans came into the sport because of that also. So they've seen this huge market. Why would you then not bring on an American team again?
Yeah, I mean, I dislike it because I always think the more teams are better. And, I grew up with Formula One and predominantly really got into it early 2010s. And you had 12 teams, I think it was, on the grid at the time. And yes, okay, those 3 new teams that came in sucked and they were at the back. But it was also a nice little story of between those 3 teams, who was going to come out on top by, getting, whether it was an 11th position or 12th position. They scored no points, but they upped the other team. Or, when Jules Bianchi scored the first point for Marussia in 2014, I believe it was, at Monaco. Like, that was such a huge achievement, and it was like, oh my god, this team has got 9th place. Like, that is incredible. But I don't think we'd have something like that. I don't think Andretti would come in and be right down at the back. I think Andretti would be a great addition to the sport. Huge name. They're already willing to put a lot of money in. They're going to have an F2 and an F3 team. That's great.
Yeah.
They're running in IndyCar. They're running in Formula E. They're also running, I believe, in endurance racing too, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. And yeah, I think it'll be a great addition to the sport, getting those guys in. So it's just a bit of a shame. They could have easily taken that no and been like, cool, we're going to go and do this sport now.
We're not going to try again. That's it. But they've made it known that they want to be in the sport.
Facility
if they're
in
already
Europe.
in so many other series, it's only the next step for them is to be in Formula One as well. So it is quite silly to me. If there are certain tracks that just can't facilitate that, unless they're like prestigious and there's so much history. But
those tracks do have, the historic tracks have enough garages.
That's what I mean. Like if they're not, then just take them off. Not as easy as that, of course, but like you say, if it is something Las Vegas or maybe one, I don't want to offend any other races, but just less history around it, then swap it out. Do something, make those changes. But I think F1 is in this era now where they're quite comfortable. They know what they're doing. They know what direction they want to go in money-wise. Because if it was about the sport and just making it more entertainment value or whatever it is, more for the fans, there'll be so many more changes going on. A lot of the fans don't even like sprint races. Some people love it. More action on track, amazing. Some people hate it. If they really wanted to know about what the general demographic is saying, they would bring on another team. And you wouldn't bring it on straight away. Maybe it's like, we can't facilitate you, for the next 2 to 3 years, but we'll make those work. We'll sign a contract. We'll get you in a few years' time. And then that will just elevate the sport completely.
You can support whoever you want to support. I think the outrage should be more of everybody, that we should have just extra teams. We should want more teams on the grid, and we should allow more teams to be on the grid in the future, because more cars, more competition. It's not spicy,
but I like it.
I think it's a good discussion piece, but I'm going to say it's a 2, just because really? I don't. It's like you say, it's an outrage for everybody. Everybody should be annoyed by it, and I think we should all want more teams in the sport. And there's some people might be at home like, no, I'm quite happy with the 10 teams, and that's fair. Americans also still have HAAS. Like, HAAS is an American team. If you are patriotic, you will support HAAS. Like, it's as simple as, and yes, okay, that might not be a team at the front, but who's to say Andretti comes in and they're winning championships?
Yeah.
They could be in the same area as
You
HAAS.
don't need to support the team just because they're winning, you know, loads of Williams fans.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think, you know, it shouldn't be an outrage. I don't think Americans necessarily are outraged because, like, oh, you're doing all this and you don't want an American team. They already have an American team. I'm
going to say a 4 on this one. I quite like it because you can sort of bounce between reasons, obviously, for why they can't bring a team in and reasons for why they should bring a team in. And it opens this debate to what is the future of Formula One. So I quite like this one. Okay, that's all the hot takes. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please send us in your hot takes, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, and Hayden and I will debate them next week. We'll see you then.